This is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
As Betty Anderson walks through the Peyton Place Square this cold winter morning, she wonders if seeing Rodney Harrington today is the right thing for her to do. Right or wrong, Betty is propelled toward this action, propelled toward Rodney.
Who is it? Betty.
Surprised?
Well, yes. Come in, come in. I'll get your coat.
Well, I can only stay a minute.
Sit down.
No, thanks.
You've been shopping, huh?
Mm-hmm, for you. Happy birthday.
Oh, you're too much.
I doubt that.
No, I mean it. Do you know how many people remembered my birthday? I mean, I didn't expect a phone call from the president or tributes in the newspaper or even a lot of loot, but this...
Well, the day isn't over yet.
A sailing cap.
It's non-sinkable. It's for the summer after you're free.
That's a nice thought. What is that, confidence? Bravado?
It's a feeling I have you won't be convicted. Nothing that terrible could ever happen to you.
You know, for a moment, just before you came in, I thought to myself, why not take off? Why not just grab the first bus to the airport and take off?
You mean run out on your bail?
Yeah. But then my logical mind, my tremendously logical mind took over and...
I know how you feel. I've wanted to run off and have.
From me?
This is a real nice place you have here.
It's great.
How do you pass the time?
Well, I read a lot. I read newspapers and I thumb through magazines and I study the instructions on cereal box tops thoroughly. You know, fill the bowl half full with cereal, add milk, sugar, strawberries. I'm an avid reader. We should have had something like this, Betty. This room, not 10 square feet up in that mausoleum on the hill. Do you ever think of what it might have been like if we'd have stayed married?
Of course I have.
You know, I think of Norman and Rita starting with nothing. I mean nothing, just that wild apartment above the drugstore. And I think to myself, that's the way to do it. That's the way we should have done it.
It wouldn't have mattered. You didn't want to be married anyway.
Point for you. Did you?
Want to be married? I thought I did. I knew I wanted you. Maybe
Don't call it a teenage flame. Don't label it.
Rod, please. We've changed. We've matured.
Too bad we didn't mature together.
Look, it's silly talking like this. I just came here to wish you a happy birthday.
Hey, would I be impolite if I said I don't believe you?
Good morning, Miss Anderson.
Good morning, Mr. Peyton.
Get in. You can ride to it.
I'd rather walk, thank you.
Thomas, ask the desk to deliver this to my grandson.
Yes, Mr. Peyton.
Now, what, may I ask, were you doing at the inn?
You gave me the time off.
I'm still allowed to be curious.
All right. I was wishing your grandson a happy birthday.
You don't look very festive.
I'm not.
All right. I promise not to say a word all the way home.
Is that a promise?
Get in, Miss Anderson.
That's all you need right now, to get involved with Betty Anderson again. You've got enough problems as it is.
Dad, it may bother you to learn that I'm not interested in your evaluation of ancient history.
Don't be a fool, Rod. Don't go looking for more problems.
You know, you came all the way back from Europe to stand by me. And I appreciate it. Then why don't you do that? Just that. Stand by me.
I'm supposed to deliver this by hand, Rodney.
Thank you. Rodney, don't put this in your savings account. Don't buy anything practical with it. Keep it to enjoy when this foolish trial is over. Happy birthday, your grandfather. Today is my birthday.
I'm sorry, son.
It's pretty generous of Grandfather, wouldn't you think? He's saying live a little.
He's trying to buy your loyalty.
Does there always have to be an angle?
With Martin Peyton, yes.
Hey, you don't have to go through all that trouble. It's only my brother.
Oh, I know, but I want it to be something special. Rod's so down the dump since he broke up with Allison. I want it to be right. I want us to be proud of what we serve in our home.
Come here. You're Mrs. Norman Harrington now. Doesn't that give you enough pride for 1 or 2 weeks?
For a lifetime.
Well, then. You don't have to be faked out by Rod and a bunch of freeloading relatives. You can give them beans and hardtack served in sandy abalone shells, and they'll love it. You don't have to prove anything to them.
I know. But it does make a difference to me what they think. Especially since I'm your wife. I mean, I have my own standards, too. My own pride.
I was wondering if, under the circumstances, you still wanted to testify on Monday.
I hadn't thought about it. I mean, I hadn't thought about putting it off.
If you'd prefer to for a couple of days, I'm sure I could get a postponement.
Look, Mr. Fowler, I know that you're actually not my attorney and that you can't give me advice, but would you prefer that I put it off?
I know of no reason to make such a recommendation.
Then it's settled. Next question.
I'm not sure I have a next question, Miss Jenner.
I guess you got the police report about my father's death.
Yes, I did.
Then you're familiar with Martin Peyton's version of how it happened?
That your father threatened his life, yes. As a matter of fact, Mr. Peyton came by the courthouse earlier to reaffirm personally his version.
Well, isn't that the reason for this visit, to find out who's lying? The Peytons or the Chernacks?
Sergeant Goddard heard your father's dying statement, that he came to Peyton's house only to ask for his job back. Now, Miss Chernak, a dying man's statement, no matter what the man's name is always taken to be the truth, unless and until there's decisive proof to the contrary. Mr. Peyton's version is relevant, yes, but not conclusive.
Are you sure you wouldn't like some coffee? It's homemade.
Well, some other time.
Thank you for showing concern about me.
Oh, it's quite all right. Oh, I was wondering. I may want to ask your mother a few questions.
You don't mean in court?
Yes.
Oh, well.
I realize that she's upset, but...
When would you need her?
On Monday, the day you testify.
She'd be pretty emotional. I don't think she'd be of any help.
Well, I'd only want to ask her a few questions, but if you think it'd be too much of a strain.
You'd be quite a picture. Two Chernock women dressed in black.
I might not even have to put her on the stand.
Window dressing. You are very clever, Mr. Fowler. I'm sure my mother will want to cooperate if she's able to.
Whatever you think best. I'll see you on Monday.
We'll be there.
Thank you, Miss Turner.